Welcome everyone to the Side Hustle, where we pull professionals aside to talk about their hustles. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Emily Monarch and Jimmy Collin from Donor Detroit, a leading agency recognized in the 2022 Ad Age A-List. Founded and headquartered in Detroit, Donor operates with the objective of helping Main Street brands compete and win in the modern marketplace by utilizing the latest and greatest marketing practices. I'm so excited to hear your insights and experience at Donor and in the field, so let's begin. Please welcome Emily and Jimmy, and to start off, if you guys would like to introduce yourselves, Donor, and then some of your background and your current roles within the organization.
Emily, should we hire Kristin? Because that was a hell of an intro.
That was very good. Thank you.
I'm your biggest fan.
Emily, you want to go first?
Sure. Hi, I'm Emily. Thank you for having us on. We're excited to be here. This is my first podcast. I work closely with Jimmy and the team on all things new business and comms for Donor. So all the new business leads and opportunities come through our group, and we also do all of Donor's social.
My name is Jimmy Collin, and I lead our biz dev and comms team, and I am a Donor lifer. I've been here 3 times. I'm an advertising addict, a bit of a workaholic. And I apologize in advance for all the dad jokes you might hear during the next 25 minutes or so.
That's good stuff. We like that around here. What made you guys go into advertising, and how have ads or the industry in general changed since you began your career?
So this is a good lesson for everybody. I actually started as a summer intern at Donor after my 3rd year of college. I was at Michigan studying creative writing. They wanted me to be like a novelist, and I thought that would be like horrible. And I loved advertising, and I saw advertising in movies and on TV. There were cool TV shows like 30 something, and there were cool movies like this movie, Nothing in Common. It just seemed glamorous and cool. And I got an internship at Donor and literally came home my first day and told my parents about my day for 3 hours. I didn't take a breath. I just literally vomited out funny story after funny story. I saw crazy stuff. And honestly, to this day, I still get excited. I wake up at 5:30 every morning, excited to get to work and see what we can do. Every day is different. Every day is exciting, and we're the people that bring accounts into the agency. Fortunately, with an agency like Donor, we're not doing what we call outbound. So we aren't calling people up saying, "Hey, do you need an ad agency?" People come to us. I mean, that sounds arrogant, but it's just true. We're an Ad Age A-List agency. We work with Chrysler and J&J and McDonald's and all these great brands. And when you do the Jeep Super Bowl and stuff like that, people call you and want to hire you. And Emily and some other people on our team, we're the people in charge of helping them realize that Donor's the right choice.
Follow that up if you want. I started as an AAE at Donor and then moved into a project management role. I also have returned to Donor for my 2nd tour. So I left the agency on a brief hiatus and worked at another agency. And now I'm back working with Jimmy on new business. And I echo what he said. I mean, it's every day is a new adventure. It's always exciting. There's always something happening. And we have a really great team and culture at Donor that it's just very fun to be a part of every day. So,
Kristin, you asked a question about how the industry's changed. I can honestly tell you, look, I'm 55 years old. I started when I was 21. I've been doing this a really long time, and I now work with people that are the same age as like my kids, and I love that. But the industry's changed so much because when I started, it was like, ooh, what's the big TV spot? Like people looked forward to advertising, and it wasn't efficient. We're trying to get people to pay attention to our work, right? Today, it's a different world. We know everything about you. This is something that we do all the time when we talk to college students. If you give me your phone and we go into your advertising data on your iPhone, we can tell you like what you're shopping for, what sites you go to, where you've been, if you've got your location on. It's a different world. Like one way to think about it is this. When you guys scroll through your phones, and I know as a podcast, I can't see what I do in my hands, but imagine a half an inch below the bottom of your phone, okay? And as you're scrolling through Instagram, for example, do you think that next half inch is already predetermined? And if you scroll back and forth, it's going to be there. It's like a newspaper. It's printed. No, it's not. So in that little half inch, as your thumb or finger is scrolling up, dozens of advertisers are bidding on you in an open auction marketplace for your eyeballs going, hey, Kristin was at H&M the other day. Oh, but Kristin was also on what's that fancy designer?
Balenciaga, the one
Sorry, I
like,
get that one wrong.
the
But
one
but all these brands are
canceled.
bidding for your eyeballs, going, oh, I'll pay 1/100th of a penny. I'll pay 1/100th in 0.1 a penny. So basically, all your content is being created just for you. And we do the same ad dozens of different ways because we have to customize advertising. We have to optimize it in real time. So what you can do today is just more efficient. It's more customized. It makes more sense. We're not sending the wrong advertising to the wrong people. So the business has changed, honestly, because of technology. It's just better. That's the upside. The downside, it's disposable content. So that really important thing used to make that you could celebrate and go to a shoot and have a wrap party and a couple $1,000 dinner and all the craziness I'm not allowed to talk about. Those days are gone because the stuff you do now, it's like we're going to make something and it might stick around for a little while, but 2 weeks later, boom, it could be gone, forgot, so don't spend too much money on the content. It's all consumable and disposable.
When I was a kid, there was product placement in movies. I remember Josie and the Pussycat Dolls, the Target product placement in that movie. I remember as a kid being like, this is crazy. But now I feel like advertising is more subliminal. Even in the past 10 years, I feel like it's completely changed.
One of our clients is actually one of the most popular product placements in all of TV and film. So for over 20 years, we've worked with the UPS store. We actually launched the brand. And UPS trucks are used in production all the time. They have them on Hollywood sets because they have to hide the palm trees. So to make it look like Milwaukee, they're like, oh, we love this shot. We love the house. We got this angle. The sun's right, but we can't have the palm trees. Whether they have the branding or not, or it's in focus or not, things like so UPS is glad to do it. And they give all these trucks to these companies that just manage vehicles. They manage cabs and trucks and things like that. So it's funny. This is like, okay, so you think about advertising for a second. Like I thought the only job in advertising was writing. I had no idea there were all these other departments. My wife works in advertising and she negotiates Hollywood celebrity contracts. She runs business affairs. So you think about it, and I'm not using this as a recruiting podcast, although people are really smart go-getters. Emily and I'd love to talk to you. Yeah. But here's the thing, like you're really good at finance. You're a finance major and don't want to work in investment stuff. We have a really, cunning finance department, at Donor. Donor has 11 agencies now. We're an agency and we're a network with something called the Donor Partners Network, where we have an influencer agency, a PR agency, a diversity marketing agency, research. So you think about all the jobs and all the departments. If you go on like one of our internal intranet and you look at the different department groups, there's 5 different finance groups. There's client facing, and then there's internal. There's the brand leadership, like the account services. There's producers, production. You want to travel all the time? You want to go to cool places and shoot stuff and go overseas and be on a film set? Be a producer. There's project managers who basically people who are organized, know how to get stuff done, know how to get everyone to do their job. There's so many different vocations within the industry. I think for college students who are looking to break in, you don't know what you want to do. So don't guess because you're going to screw it up. So get an internship, get a couple, okay? And you can work virtually or you can go to a place, see if you like it, see if you don't like it. If you want to be a creative person, one of my favorite all-time hires at Donor was a DePaul grad, Katie Gertis. She's a creative director in Cincinnati now. And she went to DePaul and then went to finishing school, as we call it, went to grad school. She went to Portfolio Center. So for creative people, you might have to make a little investment after 4-year college. But you walk in making really good money and you're going to be really well trained as an art director or copywriter or something like that.
Can you tell off the bat where somebody's going to fit in?
Oh my gosh, that's a really good question. What do you think, Hev?
That is a tough question. I mean, I think you have to have obviously finance. Like I didn't go to school and take any finance courses, so that probably is not applicable to me personally, but some people may be able. I mean, there is a lady that I worked with who just returned to Donor on her 3rd tour as well, who has basically had, I think, almost every position. She's been a project manager. She's now working in operations. She close with the finance team. She has been on the account side. So, I mean, I think people do move around. And as you go through your career and learn more, there's many ways to kind of change your route if needed and if wanted. This person decided they just wanted to be internal. They didn't want to have clients anymore. And so she took a leap, and now that, she is back working in this operations role, and she's very excited about it. So I think there's definitely chances in advertising to pivot, but obviously, my project management, account background, new business is I'm probably not going to be an art director one day.
Because you're not walking in with the natural skill. But both Emily and I have had at least 2 or 3 different jobs in different departments during our careers. The bulk of my career was as a copywriter and a creative director. And when you think about putting someone like me in the new business world, we're not in sales. We aren't cheesy salespeople trying to sell you something, but you need people that can write a nice response to a new business opportunity. You don't want boring, crappy writing. You want elegant, economic, you want to show great economy in your writing. You want to be interesting, compelling, draw people in. You want great design and beautiful visuals. So it's good to have a creative person there. For Emily, we need somebody in new business who can lead the group on a day-to-day basis. We have a team of designers and all things going on. We create hundreds of documents every year. Emily's project management background is really valuable, but also Emily's time in account services is really valuable because she understands, okay, what was the strategy behind this? What's that brand about? And then also, honestly, having the high level wherewithal to go, do we really want to pitch that piece of crap account? Or that's a really good one that we got, you need to know those.
Yeah. Would you say that it's common to jump from like healthcare or like in-house agencies?
Yeah, I think people do move around a lot. There's many clients we have worked at an agency, and we love that because they get it and they don't have, they understand like behind the scenes how many things have to happen in order for their, little social ad to get up and running, and that you can't just make things happen in 2 days. That's unrealistic. So we appreciate those clients very much. But I think there is flexibility. You can work, on the client side at, in-house on a marketing team. You can work at an agency. You can move around within the agency. So I think there's definitely a lot of options in terms of, your career in an advertising role.
And we're just talking as a creative agency because we currently, right now at Donor, don't have a media arm. There's an entire, half or third of the industry that's just the media world, which is absolutely fascinating. Media a long time ago felt like, okay, you're buying concept. Oh, your campaign is about whatever active lifestyle. You should advertise on active lifestyle channels. Those days are gone. You don't buy concept anymore. You buy eyeballs. So like I was talking about before with your phone, like we know Kristin's into these certain things through a programmatic buying platform. We're able to, the whole media world focuses on that. So it's like, if I want to say something to your listeners, to make advertising more compelling, I could just say like, 3 things. So one would be go visit an ad agency, see which ones are working hybrid or in person, or go on the day when the most people are there. And I guarantee it'll be the coolest office you've ever been to. And you're wondering like, how do they even get anything done? Because it seems like a big social hour sometimes. The second thing I'd say is if you want to go into the media world, you're going to get to go to really cool places and see really cool things. You'll never pay for a ticket again for the rest of your life. You're going to go to Super Bowls and you're going to go to events. You're going to go to CES and things like that. You're going to go to South by Southwest, and it's really cool. And the third thing I'd say is, Emily, tell our listeners about your first business trip ever last June.
That's true. So our team went to Cannes, like the advertising Super Bowl of the world, for a whole week.
I wish this was on video because Kristin's face when you said you went to Cannes, her jaw just hit the bottom. It went off as you.
And it was the most amazing trip. I had never been even abroad. So for me, that was like the best thing ever. And it was work hard, play hard. We had, a great time going around to the different events and, seeing these amazing installations on the beach from all of these various vendors, Meta, Jimmy Bloomberg.
You were hanging out with Dua Lipa at Spotify. You and like
Spotify Beach. They had concerts. It was crazy, but I mean, it was amazing to see like the best of the best, advertising professionals and up and coming advertising professionals all together in one place. The speakers were incredible. We saw a few of those, and, we worked really hard. It was really hot, but worked really hard, had a lot of great meals. And at night, it was like a whole nother, like it was a huge party and people are all out in the streets and having a great time. So it was definitely a once in a lifetime lifetime opportunity. We're hoping we can maybe go again this year. We will see. But yeah, I mean, crazy where you can go.
But we will say, to go to your earliest question, breaking into the business. First job is hard. First job is really hard. And I always tell people, take advantage of every single connection and opportunity that you have. I got my internship at Donor with the worst piece of crap portfolio ever. They didn't want to hire me, but one of the creative directors, her husband knew my dad, and they literally said, we need a fourth for doubles. And if he's going to be home this summer, he's a good left-handed player. Let's keep him around. It was literally, they needed a fourth for double squash. And I got lucky. But I proved myself. After my first month in the business, I sold a TV spot, which I guess is sort of unheard of. And I was like, okay, I think I can figure this whole thing out. So you got to take advantage of who you know. Be relentless. One thing I will tell you, when interns apply, we respond. But we also get a ton of parents that apply for their kids. So we get all these people reach out to HR saying, are you going to be hiring interns this January? Because my daughter or my son is looking. We immediately get the name of that parent or whatever, and we will look at that candidate through a very, very different lens. Because this isn't a person who's, or a potential, employee who's interested. This is like someone's parents pushing them. We don't need that. We need go-getter. Like we've had in our group, our last two interns could work at any agency anywhere in the world. They were rock stars. And they were like, you send them a Teams message on a Saturday morning at 9, by 9:02, you're getting a response. Not that we have to work 7 days a week sometimes, but we need go-getters that want to do this, that want to have fun, that want to do great work, that, think about the company first and personal needs second sometimes. Kristin's raising her hand saying, that's me. I want to be an intern. Do you want to work in the new business group? Because the new business group is, it's really hard and really intense, but it's also the highest profile group in the agency because the CEO, the president, the CFO, they're in this room that I'm in every day that our team is in with us. We have lunch with them a couple days a week, right? Because new business is the lifeblood of the agency.
Now I'm just excited to be out of college and ready to go. It's scary to
You have one more semester?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, already.
Every agency, every day is looking for their next great hire. And it's not always, it's not always some senior level rock star. Because I got to tell you, today, it's tough. As a many-year veteran, as a person who is not, I'm a white guy, okay? I don't bring diversity. All I have is experience and some unique skills. But think about people that bring unique experiences. They bring diversity. They're young, they're energetic, they have a great handle on technology and culture. That's helpful. Those are the go-getters. Those are the people we want to hire all the time. But I will say, when you interview with an agency, whether it's Donor or it's FCB or it's some small independent or who knows, do your homework. I mean, walk in there and walk into the interview and, every person who's listening to your podcast should have one objective in their interview, and it's not getting a job. You want to get the interviewers to talk more than you. Nobody ever went on a first date that they thought was great where they did all the talking. You got to get them to talk. So walk into your Donor interview and say, got to tell you, I grew up in Detroit and I've been around Donor's work my whole life. And I'm a huge fan of this and this, super excited.
I love Egg McMuffins. Yay.
And that zoo campaign.
Oh,
it's
Which one?
too good.
Jimmy's baby.
Wait, which one?
It was get vitamin Z with the zoo, the Detroit Zoo.
Okay, should I say it, Emily, or don't say it?
I already said it was your baby.
I actually, when I was a creative director in 2009, I wrote Vitamin Z, part of a complete childhood. And the rationale and strategy behind it was, for parents, they have options. Like, you can take your kid to Cedar Point. You can let them sit in the basement and play video games. You can tell them to just watch TV and shut up. And we call that empty calories. But when you go to the zoo, we call that emotional nutrition, something you can only get at the zoo. So vitamin Z is something you can only experience by visiting the zoo. And there were people, even board members, like famous people, said, we should sell vitamin Z like candy or something in the gift shop. And I'm like, no, you missed the point. It's not a pill. It's not a liquid. It's an experience. It's emotional nutrition and stuff like that. Because they were just thinking we could sell stuff. And I'm like, you're not. And then once everyone understood the brand and how the campaign was going to work, we thought, okay, this is something you can run for 30 years. And maybe they will.
I hope. That is good stuff, Jimmy.
Hey, the zoo is great when you're a little kid. The zoo is better when you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s. Because you know why? They've got cool events at night for grown-ups, and there's, I think, 2 or 3 bars inside the zoo.
In the zoo?
There's just a beer hall garden thing also. Yeah, you can walk around the zoo with a beer. It's great.
Do they do Oktoberfest?
They do. It's called, Emily, you gotta help me on this one. It's something like,
I don't
it has the
know.
word brew in it, Zoo Brew. And it
Oh, you're
sells
right.
every
Yes.
year. Zoo Brew sells out every year. And it's all people like your age, and it's a lot of craft breweries and stuff. It's great.
I can't explain how excited you've made me to just be involved in advertising. Do you have any other words of wisdom for college students or people going into college and that know they want to be involved in advertising in some way, marketing even?
I mean, there's so much. I feel like Emily, don't you feel like we're the advice ladies every day?
Yeah, I think Jimmy said it best. You have to try things. It's gonna be hard. But every day you just need to come with a positive attitude to get things done. And we work on deadlines, so it can be tough. There can be late nights, there can be weekends sometimes, and that's kind of part of the gig. But I've made some of my best friends at Donor and working, with different teams and across different departments. So it's definitely worth it. And it's always fun to see the things you make and are a part of, out in the world. So there's like not many jobs where I think you can do that. So yeah, go get them, have a positive attitude, and kind of be willing to try anything.
I mean, Emily, you make a really good point. It is, you work in advertising because you might have a passion for the industry, but what keeps you coming back every day and getting excited every day is not just the opportunity, but the people. You get to hang out with the smartest, most creative, innovative, coolest people. Sure, there's a couple of bad apples here and there at any agency, but these are cool, energetic people with a finger on the pulse. It's a fun environment. But I'll tell you two things just for your listeners that might be helpful. Number one, go on adage.com, go on Adweek, study the trends, learn about what's going on in the industry. So if you are looking to get into it, you understand like, when Facebook changed to Meta, that was a big story. You think about what Ryan Reynolds has done by creating basically a fake ad agency for companies he's invested in. He spoke at Cannes. I mean, he's become a walking ad agency, right? That was a sold out show, wasn't it? I think, learn about the industry. Don't walk in saying, I don't know anything, teach me everything. Walk in with some knowledge. And I think that's helpful. And then the other thing I'd say is don't be afraid if you hate it. It's not for everyone. Try it. And having a year or two, whatever, under your belt in advertising, you do anything. You go work anywhere. You want to go into sales, you want to go back to school, you want to go get a corporate job somewhere else. Having a good marketing background and understanding how and why people buy things is valuable to everyone. I don't care if you're a doctor or you're a rabbi, because you got to understand how to get patients and how to get members of your synagogue. Understanding marketing helps everyone. And, I guess the last thing I'd say is there's a lot of free food too.
That's true.
Like there's always snacks and lunches. There's so much free food. Like some agencies go too far. Like one agency I worked at, they called it you had like a freshman 15 your first year. You had to really avoid the snack table. And then when you go on production, there's this thing called craft service, where literally somebody just in charge of replenishing a buffet all day long. And if you just graze all day long, you won't even be able to go to the fancy dinner that night because you're gonna be like, I can't eat.
Sounds like you guys are living
the breakfast burrito at the craft service at the catering truck. It's a whole thing, man.
It's work hard, play hard. Work hard, play hard. That could not be more appropriate for a role at an agency.
Will write in the description that just at the bottom of the screen, like you and I both had like beers open or something.
Yeah, right.
I think I'm going to title the episode "Work Hard, Play Hard," though. Like,
okay,
it's really good
at Donor.
It is because it's a hard job. I mean, especially for a young person, no one's going to come in and go, "Oh, you know what? Yeah, put in your 36-hour week." Okay? No one works a 36-hour week in advertising. You're going to work 50 hours minimum. Okay. You may work hybrid, you may work remote. You got to decide what's right for you. But right now, it looks like every agency is trying to get people to get back into a building together. So if you are completely opposed or afraid or have a health issue, whatever, you're never going to be able to go into an office. You got to really think about where you want to work, because agencies need to put things on the wall. We'll fly people into town so we can all look at stuff together and collaborate, because the work just gets better that way.
I mean, I'm not somebody that hopes to work at home ever. 2 years of college in a pandemic where we had to do online classes. I don't know why anybody would want to go back to Zooming everything.
I would say I like the flexibility that we have now. Our team is pretty good in terms of we kind of like every week figure out, all right, on Tuesday, it makes us makes the most sense for us all to be here maybe Wednesday, Thursday. Jimmy likes to work at the office every day, but Katie and I, we come probably 3 or 4 days a week at this point, and it's just easier to be together. But it's Thursday and we're shutting down for the holidays, so I'm going to work from home today.
Kristin, I'll tell you this. We learned a lot about ourselves and a lot about Zoom and a lot about what you can do in person and what you can't do in person during the pandemic. Zoom is great for selecting ideas. We can get on Zoom and share screen and people can go through ideas and you can write notes and we can have a productive conversation around which ideas we should move forward with, which ideas we should kill, whatever you want to call it. But it's not a good platform for collaborating and coming up with ideas. And it's a terrible platform for making ideas better. Because I also can't look at the wall of all the ideas and go, that thing you talked about earlier over here? What if we took the point of this and put it over there? Like you can't do that. And I think the in-person part is going to return. It has returned in some respects. And I think it's ultimately what will help us do a lot of our best work. Put that aside for a second. When we work really, really late at night and we have to get a presentation out, we leave here at 2 PM because we know we're going to be up all night. We all work remotely because, camera off after midnight probably. Because look, it's easier to do that at home than it was at the office.
Yeah.
Safer, easier, stuff like that. So you know what? We'll throw this opportunity out to your listeners. Tell you what, we'll make you an offer. Not a job offer yet. We'll make you an offer. If your listeners have specific questions, have them reach out to you. You know how to get in touch with us. We'll create a live doc on SharePoint or something because we're not a Google agency, not a Google doc. We'll be happy to answer any questions from your listeners. And if we can't answer them, we'll put you in touch with people that can.
Yeah, happy to do that.
Thank you so much. I don't have words. I'm so excited right now.
Okay, so let's put you on the spot. What kind of job do you want to get in advertising? What's your major, by the way?
My major is public relations and advertising. And then I hope I'm a good writer. I just have ideas. I have this one Twix idea. Can't tell you guys yet.
Hey, I'll go back to what I said a few minutes ago. If you want to be a creative, talk to some creatives, but also it's really important to walk in with a portfolio of examples of your work because you can't just be on potential. And you might want to consider going to a 2-year post-grad program like Portfolio Center in Chicago and be a copywriter or be an art director. If you know already if you're going to be an art director because you have some natural talent there, not because we don't know if you do or don't, but copywriting is something. If you have some skill, you can develop those skills really, really well. And that's a great trajectory because everybody needs to be a great writer. Everybody, because we all write an email or a letter and you got to have that skill down. So whether you end up being a creative or not, it's really good to develop those skills.
That's good.
Yeah, and I would add to that, creative ideas don't always come from the creative department. So
True.
Keep that idea up there. Sell that bad boy.
I'm like, sharks, here's my idea.
There you go.
Every day's a Shark Tank here, basically.
Hopefully not the one in Europe that exploded recently. Did you guys see that on the news?
The 1,500 fish died in Germany. Is very sad.
Oh, I thought you were saying like a military tank or something.
No. It was a fish tank.
In Berlin, one of the world's largest, I think it was a saltwater tank with exotic fish, cracked and failed. Yeah.
Failed.
Yeah. So
Failed.
These things happen. Emily, any last things we should share around?
No, I just want to thank you for reaching out. This is super exciting and we love to do these kinds of things, especially if we can, help one person make a difference to one person. So hopefully we have lots of listeners and we're excited to answer any follow-up questions that you have for us.
If people want to learn more about Donor, they can go to donor.com, DONER.com. If a lot of the DePaul students are Chicago-based all year, we have a Chicago footprint there. We're calling it a talent hub right now because there's less than 20 people, but we're gonna be probably opening up we're going to be in a bigger physical space soon and maybe turning it into a full-on Chicago office. But we have a big creative team there. Our headquarters in Detroit, we've got around 400 people.
Yep. A little under 400 people. Yeah. And we are part of a network, like Jimmy said. So if, working at the creative agency or the PR agency or the influencer agency sound, interesting to you, let us know. We can set you up with the right people.
And when they interview, like when people interview, honestly, if you're going to come to Donor, show up in your Jeep, having just had drinking a Fairlife milk.
Fairlife.
Maybe you had a headache, so you take some Tylenol.
Yeah.
My skin is dry, so I need some Aveeno, baby.
Aveeno bait, some
Yes,
Aveeno, right.
very good. Or Lubriderm.
So,
Oh, that too.
but like, I'm not joking to a certain extent. Like my house, like we all, like Emily and I both drive Jeeps. I mean, Emily's family has two. I mean, her and her husband both have them. Like we support our clients. You get into it. It's a whole culture. It's great. Yeah. And Kristin, I think Kristin would look good in a big Ram pickup. We'll get you a discount. Okay.
This has been amazing, you guys. I have learned so much, and I know that the listeners, I was going to say viewers, but
Kristin will let you know when people go to our LinkedIn and they're like, Emily Monarch, Jimmy Collin. They're going to be all these like hits. People going, who are these crazy maniacs?
And if you see people from like Texas and all these people, it's because I've let the network know, and you guys are about to get really popular. So
Emily was a D1 college athlete. She's got a cool last name. I mean, there's a lot going on there.
What, Emily?
I did. I played tennis at the University of Toledo. So long ago. Yes.
Serena Williams, like,
yeah, right.
but you're giving, it's you.
I think on the diva scale, I think Serena's a little more diva-ish than Emily.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for your time. I'll be sending an email and probably flowers, like, and an edible arrangement, you know.
Love that.
Oh my God, wait, is that a client of ours or we're pitching them?
No.
I think, okay, I won't bring it. I don't want to violate any NDAs, but yeah, that's another client, I think.
Oh,
it's everything you mentioned. Everything.
But
we have pitched them before.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
Thank you guys so much. And
Thank you. Happy holidays. Talk soon.
Bye-bye, guys. Bye.